School is out of session, which means it is now finally time for your transcripts, a final report card. That's what Dominic Miranda and I will be doing all week long with all three of our NCAA colleges.
Yeah, absolutely. And what a year it's been. I mean, we looked back on all we've been able to cover this past year, 2021 into 2022, and our teams in our area have certainly given us a lot to talk about.
Yeah, and I think you got to start here with Florida State. There's been no shortage of headlines. It's been a super up and down year for the Seminoles, but even then, lots of important hirings in the athletic department. Some success met with some serious setbacks. This was the hardest of the three to judge for me, Dom. How did you see it shake out for the Noles in 2022?
Yeah, and a passing of the torch with the athletic director as well here with the Garnet and Gold. But to start with Florida State, I'm handing out a B-. And truthfully, Ryan, if we're all being honest with each other, this could be lower. This 80% grade here is being propped up by the national champion soccer team, the record-setting regular season of Florida State softball. But let's go through it here, beginning with football. Ryan, you and I said it throughout this offseason. This team had to make a bowl game. A bowl game was the proof of concept that we were looking for in Mike Norvell's second year at the helm. For a brand and program like Florida State, they shouldn't be asking a lot. Well, then the Noles opened the season 0-4 with arguably the worst loss in program history to Jacksonville State. That was an ugly start, but it wasn't all bad. FSU followed it up by winning 5 of the next 8 games, ending 5-7, yes, but missing out on that bowl appearance. And I still think this football program is trending up, but that was disappointing, no doubt. I think we can all agree. Yes, FSU women's hoops made the tournament as we transition to the winter sports by the skin of their teeth. It wasn't a great season by any stretch, coupled with the fact that Sue Semrau retired. And the fellows on the hardwood, that was a big yikes as well. Had a less than remarkable season, to put it lightly. We all know what happened with the Garnet and Gold on the baseball diamond, resulting in the removal of Mike Martin Jr., so I'll spare you those details as we all know too well. Beach volleyball did make the national championship game, so that's good stuff. Trey Cunningham won a national title. Both golf teams had great seasons. So listen, Ryan, all things considered, FSU Athletics is in a good place. I'm sure this fan base would agree, though, with the major sports there anyway. The 2021-22 campaign left something to be desired.
Yeah.
B- for me.
Yeah, Florida State certainly feels like a victim of their own standard here, the success that the program has had throughout. B- is also what I had for the Seminoles. And honestly, without soccer and track, you took the words right out of my mouth. And I guess beach volleyball as well. This one could have been a whole lot lower. No reason to torture you with the nitty-gritty again, like you said, Dom, but goodness gracious. Part of this season and part of the problems felt like any time Florida State was about to catch a break, it didn't happen. You mentioned it. Football starts 0-4. It's a miserable start. You win 5 of the last 8, 5 of the last 7 really. You're going to Florida, your arch rival. You're playing better. You have a chance to win and go to a bowl. And really, I don't want to say completely erase what happened in September, but make things better, and you just implode in Gainesville. And that was a heartbreaker of Florida. Softball, it's the best regular season in history, and then, of course, getting bounced from the regional. Soccer wins a title, loses a coach. And, obviously, women's tennis, great season, loses at the hands of a rival to end it again in the Florida Gators. That being said, some of Florida State's off-field moves, to me, it mitigates it. Having a full-time permanent athletic director, whether Michael Alford was your guy or not, the fact that you have an AD with real decision-making power, and as we saw just a couple weeks ago, not afraid to use it, is a big thing for Florida State going forward, because that's not something that it feels like they've had in a very long time, or at least an AD that was commissioned and asked to do that. The consensus 2 hires you've made so far, Brooke Wyckoff, Brian Pinsky, women's basketball and soccer, almost universally praised in and out of Tallahassee. What happens with baseball is going to be the final part of the equation. As we're recording this, still no head coach for FSU, but I don't think that'll change my B- grade for this year. I will say this, though. If football gets its act together, Florida State is going to have the arrow pointing up.
Yeah, I think we can all agree that the athletic program isn't in a bad spot.
No.
But just like you said, every time it felt like they were going to come up for air, like there were so many opportunities for the football team to make a bowl game, right? Even if you go back to that beginning part of the season, 0-4. Games they should have won. The Clemson game they could have won. The Florida game they could have won. A lot of opportunities like that. Basketball had a winning streak. They were top of the ACC. Yeah. People forget in the regular season. To have it all come tumbling down. Injuries had a big part of that, no question about it. But then baseball showed promise. It was up and down, and it just seemed like that was a microcosm for the whole athletic department.
Lots of coulda, shoulda, woulda this year. And like I said off the top, Florida State a victim of its own standard of success and its own very high standard that it has across all sports. But still, like you said, great season for golf. Coach Amy Bond and Coach Trey Jones. Great season for both tennis squads. Obviously a great season for soccer. This was not a bad year for Florida State at all. It just maybe isn't the most spectacular season.
Right, we hold them to a high standard, and there's no apologies for that, especially with the man with the diploma here. Is that right?
Yeah, that's true enough. All right, listen, tomorrow we're going to tackle the Rattlers.